podcast. This is your host, Scotty B. My next guest is diverse and ambitious. Her portrayal of characters is so accurate, it's hard to tell in some cases if she's inspired by the original or if they by her. She's said so many positive things about the community and body positivity, drawing and having a good relationship with yourself first as a starting point for a mindset as the basis for which she shares her build, telling you to listen, support, and be kind, but also to set the example for her many fantastic cosplays. Please welcome to the show, Marvelous Rachel.
Thank you so much for having me.
Well, welcome. And you actually, before we get completely started here, you just had like a really amazing shoot. I saw on your Instagram feed for Harlequin. And
Yeah.
that looked like a lot of fun. It looked like it really came out well too.
Yeah, it was so much fun. The one thing that will be interesting whenever the photos come back, there was thousands of mosquitoes, like my legs, at least 50 bites. I'm not exaggerating, like actually at least 50 bites. The photographer, he's going to do one photo of the before edit and the after and put like pink highlighter of all the mosquitoes that get caught in the photo.
Oh no.
I'm guessing that all of like the cars and buses, that bodies of water just sit there after rain, and that's just becoming like a mosquito infestation and breeding ground. But it was so cool.
You were at a bus graveyard for the shoot.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
So good theme for spooky season, for sure.
Oh yeah, perfect for spooky season, and hopefully all the mosquitoes will be gone by then.
Yeah. Well, and you're a trooper too, to be able to go out into the elements and with everything going on and still put out an amazing shoot. And I just wanted to have you on and share what you've done and how you got started with just being so amazing at this. And this isn't necessarily a full-time thing for you. I believe you're an engineer. And would you like to share with us how you got into cosplay and how you became Marvelous Rachel?
So I actually got into cosplay kind of before it became as big as it is now. I started when I was in, I think, high school. I had ordered it from eBay. My parents got it for me for my birthday. It was Shippuden Sakura. And when I got to the convention, I was like, oh, where did you get this? They're like, I made it. I was like, oh, that was an option? So I just had no idea that people could make it. And now I have like a Cricut and sewing machine. And kind of like when I went to college, I got to meet more cosplay friends. And I took a step back from cosplay at the time due to just some negativity that happened in the community. And I just wasn't at the right mindset point to tackle that or really fully ignore it. And so I came back recently when I went to Dragon Con 2018. And I met some really amazing friends. It was so fun. And so with that, people were like, oh no, you should stay with it. And so that like extra support kind of really pushed me in. And I'm like neck deep in it now. I just dipped my toe for 2018. And now all I do is make cosplays and have lots of fun with everyone. I couldn't think of a name. So I started Black Widow. So I was like, Marvelous Rachel. And so that's kind of how I came with that.
Oh, and see, I thought it was just because all of the cosplays that you create are, in fact, marvelous.
Thank you.
Certainly, just glad that you decided that it was something that you wanted to put your time into. And yes, the community can be a little bit weird sometimes, but as I've said on other casts before, 99.9% just very open and accepting and helpful. And really part of the podcast is to try and keep it that way and send that message out into the community. So I do appreciate that and appreciate you coming back in as of 2018 and now just really going crazy with just all the different things you do, and just the level of the detail has been what drew me in to your feed. And I know that you've also worked on cosplays for other people as you're a commissioned cosplayer. You've created not just for yourself but for other people just amazing costume and design and done a lot of work. I saw one, I think it was for Milan, that you did recently. That came out so well. What are you particularly proud of, and what has been the most helpful advice that you've received so far since you've been creating cosplays?
I think that Mulan one was actually my most proud commission. One, because we really don't have that many female leads in anything, let alone superheroes that have their own standalone movie. And they took a lot of the traditional Chinese cinematography, which I really appreciated. And so this is for like a little girl. And so I only really had 2 weeks to make it based on when I was given the time and the time of her talent show. So she was going to wear it. And so I sped and like sourced everything. And she was so happy to get it. But then literally they canceled it due to COVID. So it's so sad. But she was able to still enjoy and have fun, and parents love it. And so she shows it off to all her friends. And so that was a very kind of proud moment for me, because not only did she like get this nice costume for a character that she got to have that I didn't, was that she got to also meet me. So she's like, oh, that really cool Miss Rachel that made my costume. So it's giving more opportunities for people to look up to others that are similar diversities as them.
Yes, and that's fantastic. It's fantastic that you can both be a role model and provide something of just such high quality for someone. I think that's great. And yes, definitely going with a very strong, empowered female lead, because that is something that, unfortunately, with Marvel and with DC and with a lot of the fandoms, really does tend to lean towards a male. There's just a lot of male-based characters. So it's great to see things kind of evening out and more attention being given there. I think it's fantastic that we see more with just a diverse range of female characters being portrayed. I can mention one of my favorites. I don't know if you can see the wall behind me, but Neon Future is one of my favorite comic books. And
Ooh.
one of my favorite characters in that comic book was based on Tom Bilyeu's wife, Lisa. She's called Dee in the comic book, and she's amazing. She's just very cool character. And I hope they do a lot more episodes. But
That's so awesome.
just
I need to check that out.
yes, Neon Future. It's a very cool. You can Google it, or you can go to Impact Theory Comics. But you're actually also a brand ambassador,
Mm-hmm.
and that is for Escape Swimwear. I did a little bit of research on Escape Swimwear. I think you put it best as far as how they work with their ambassadors and just the image that they portray to the online community. But would you like to talk about why you support the brand and what led you to them?
So they actually found me, and always when I get a DM from one of those brands, they're like, oh, we want to work with you. Please DM us. So I always immediately go to their Instagram, see what their most recent posts were, and they put in their main biography that they're for body positivity. A lot of companies claim that they actually do. I looked through their feed. They had a huge, diverse amount of ambassadors. They actually put in their posts. They had BLM highlights and stories, and said many different ways that they can help support and for everyone else to support. And it's very important to me for a brand to have that, especially in the climate that we are now. You can't be quiet, and you can't just post just a story and expect us to still support you as a company or brand. So that's what I really appreciate about them. And they're very quick to respond, and they're very nice.
I like that they're a little bit more socially responsible that way.
Mm-hmm.
That sounds like a really good pick. And it looks like a pretty good pairing, a good team up. You seem to enjoy the product line, and I think that, yeah, they really do a pretty good job. I guess we'll have show notes, or we'll have notes in the show the show description when you check that, or when you check out the podcast. You can click on that and see more about what they are about, and certainly, of course, to support Rachel with her efforts there. You are also someone who supports body positivity, which I very much appreciate. You do try to find importance with fitness and with nutrition and things that I guess we tend to forget about when we're cosplaying. I mean, I guess It's hard to go to a con and find just food that's super healthy. It's also hard to find, you know, decent gym equipment. And, you know, if you're really working on a lot of projects and you have a full-time job, like it's just a lot to balance. So would you like to talk about your relationship with fitness and what body positivity means to you for the cosplay community?
Yeah, so my relationship with fitness is definitely group oriented. So my like Dragon Con like fitness crew, which is a bunch of us like cosplayers and photographers, we kind of hold each other accountable. And I also have a Peloton, which has a great community that you can like ride with, and I even run with my dog. So it's really nice to have kind of that social aspect. So that's kind of what's really helped me with my fitness, because not only am I helping myself work out, I'm helping kind of someone else. So it's kind of that like teamwork building thing that I kind of feel with it. And also that slight competitive edge depending on my mood. um, and then as far as like the cosplay community, I'm very into that. It doesn't matter what like size, color, whatever you are, you can cosplay whoever you want and whatever mood you are. If you want to get fit for a character to look a certain way, do that. 100% support you. If you're fine just wearing it as you are now, that's also awesome. So it's just kind of like whatever you want to do. And as long as you're practicing healthy habits, like at conventions, I honestly have done it before. I was like dieting super hard for like 2 weeks, and then I get to the convention and I see a pizza. I'm like, and then I overeat a little bit. So that's okay every now and then. But as long as you are practicing healthy habits and don't dehydrate yourself for a shoot, it's about fun. Don't dehydrate yourself, which I've heard some people recommend to me before. Please don't do that.
Yeah, I think we all forget that, you know, we need water when we're at conventions. Like it gets to be kind of a long day, and even if you are just inside, staying hydrated is really important. And yeah, definitely when you're at a shoot, because I think the tendency is to like not eat or drink anything, and maybe there's some nerves involved with that, because it is hard to be in front of the camera and be on for as long as you have to be. And you know, like there's just a lot of things, like you said earlier, there's a lot of environmental things going on too that can really just distract. And you know, just, I mean, it's just a lot going on. It's hard to do shoots for sure.
Definitely.
um,
Sometimes you just forget to eat and drink water, so it's always nice to have friends that bring it. I always carry at conventions a bunch of snacks in my bag and like small waters. And a lot of times photographers will forget because they pick their spot and then they never leave. So I was like, you want a granola bar? And they're like, bless you. So watch out for your friends too, even if you don't eat the snacks.
That's right. Yeah, you can always bring something for everyone else. That's a really nice thing. It's a nice gesture, especially when you know, um, and you learn as you go. But cosplayers are just a really, like, they really tough a lot of things out. Like the costumes aren't always comfortable, the shoes are not always comfortable, the wigs itch. It's just a lot, and it's for a long. It's, you know, it could be 6 hours, 8 hours, 10 hours, depending on if they're just walking around the con or if they have a lot of changes or if they are actually at a booth. You know, there's a lot of different things going on with cosplay you just don't think about when you're just like, can you have a picture with me? You know, just the things that happen. Um, Segueing into something completely different, I would be very interested, and I know you posted about this a while ago, about going to Thailand. And I think that's super cool. Um, I've never really gone, I haven't really traveled. I was to Costa Rica once, many years ago. But going to either South Korea or the Philippines or Japan would really be something that I want to do at some point. But would you like to talk about your trip there and your experiences? And has it inspired you since you've been there, cosplay or otherwise?
Yeah, so I actually been to Thailand twice. I get to travel internationally for work, thankfully, often, well, before. So I would usually just add another country on or visit my family in South Korea. And my first trip, I got to do a cool yacht tour. And so they took you to islands and scuba diving. It was just so beautiful. And they also had a monkey island, and it was just an island full of monkeys. And they got all of their food just from the tourists that came and fed them like watermelon and pineapples. And they would like jump on you. And it was so cute. A baby monkey got on me. It was so tiny. But they're also kind of scary. So I just stayed stiff. Because if a monkey thought you were trying to take food away from it, it'll bite you to make you drop the food. So it was like a terrifying and very happy situation holding the monkeys. And then like the second time I went to go visit a cosplay friend over there. And so we got to go eat a lot of cool food, and we went to this 7-level waterfall hike, and it's the best hike I've ever done in my life. They have 7 waterfalls, and the very top peak has a little pool, and they have these doctor fish in it, and they like eat the dead skin off of your feet, which depending on the person, it might just feel like someone tickling you or feel like nothing. I felt like someone was trying to like eat me and tickle my feet to death, so I wasn't that into it. So I tried to swim away very fast every time the fish got near me, but it was so blue and beautiful. It looked like something from a movie. So I highly recommend going to Thailand for those waterfalls. It's called Erawan Waterfalls. It's like elephant ear. So it's really good. But I highly recommend South Korea and Tokyo Disney if you make it to Japan.
Have you been to South Korea too?
Yes, I've been there many times. Most of my family actually still lives there, so I go almost every year.
Oh, where do they live in Seoul, or do they live
No, they live in like Kunsan, so it's a couple hours south of Seoul.
Sure.
But I studied abroad and stayed in Seoul for like the summer and did all of that. It was fun.
Did you ever go to Jeju Island while you were there?
No, I was like, I'll do it next time. I'll do it next time. So this is also a lesson to never just be, there'll be a next time. So I really regret not going, but still have many
Honestly,
years to go.
I just want to go so I can try the food. You find just out of the way, and the kinds of food that they make, Korean barbecue and everything else, it just looks so amazing. And I still haven't quite gotten where I want with the language. So.
Oh, are you learning it?
I was. I have Rocket Languages on my phone, and I have a lot of Korean. Like I have all the things that all the tools are there for me. And I was making flashcards. I have a bunch of them, so that I could finally learn like just flat out. So I got through the alphabet okay, and like I understand like I understand like the kind of how to write it. Like it's just so straightforward to understand like how they came up with the language, I guess. And that's the best part for me is like, oh, it's almost phonetic. Like there's a lot less like all the different nuances of English, for example, where you have like 3 different twos and like through and thorough and all of those like little tongue twister things. Like it's really just right there for you. If you look at the words, it's just like, oh, that's how it's pronounced. Okay.
It was actually invented because a lot of the people in Korea didn't know how to read and write the original language. So the king was like, no, we're going to make it easier so everyone can be able to read and write. So that's why that's the new phonetic one. And all the vowels are the shape your tongue makes for the sound, like ah, e, o. It's kind of based on where your tongue is, so that they were able to picture this character as they like made the sound. Yes. So it's like the most scientific language in the world, I think, is what the fact is.
Yeah, and he has his own day too. I believe you have language day, or well, that's a bad translation, but it is kind of a celebration of just the Korean written language, I think. Is that, yeah. But
I think so.
They have chocolate.
I don't recall it. There's so many holidays.
Yes, and kind of switching over, still in the same area of the world, but certainly different nationality completely. But you've met Ming-Na Wen at C2E2, and
it was the most amazing experience.
Yes, you got to meet the cavalry. It's very cool. Was that in 2019 2019 or was it
Yeah,
2018?
2019. Yeah,
2019. So,
2019.
so we were both, I think we were both in Chicago at C2E2 once
Ah.
upon a time, because yeah, that was, it was the year that both Ming-Na Wen and Greg Clark, or Clark Gregg were there,
Hmm.
I think. So you got to meet her. Yeah, talk about, just talk about the experience and how did C2E2 compare to a con like Dragon Con?
Yeah, so meeting her was really amazing. She took I was Agent May when I met her, and what's also funny is the only photo I have of that cosplay is the one that she took. And so she took a picture of it and posted on her story, and I screenshotted it. So that's how I have that. That's the only photo I have, and I want to keep that as like, yes, this is my only photo of this cosplay. So that was really nice to get kind of that acknowledgement directly from her, and kind of like that praise of all this top stitching I did on the vest. And she gave like all the people that cosplayed her these little cute cross body fanny packs that say Agents of Shield on it, and she put an autograph on it. And it was a very nice gift and gesture, and just like a nice like token of us meeting.
Wow.
So it was probably the best celebrity experience I've had. So I just absolutely love her, and she has like a great social media presence with like her main account and her Whenever by Now When, where she like helps people with like cooking and just like body positivity and the fitness stuff that she does herself. So she's a very big role model for me.
Yes, I went looking for the apparel because she had hats and she had T-shirts for whenever, and I still haven't gotten around to getting any. But it's very cool what she does inside and outside of her celebrity, and she's just super nice, and she's like, I mean, I remember her from being in Street Fighter once upon a time, but when she was on Marvel, like that was kind of the whole reason why I kept watching Marvel Agents of Shield, because
Mm-hmm.
she was just so awesome as Agent May. Like it just, and all the like how the character develops over time too.
Mm-hmm.
We we unfortunately we did not get to meet her while we were there. Um, we were just thinking, oh well, maybe she'll come back, or maybe we'll see her at a different con or something like that. And then COVID hits, and very depressing that I didn't make that choice. I went to see Summer
Oh.
Glau. I went to see David Tennant. And that was really when we started to run out of money. So
Yep.
um, we didn't get to the others, but that's just that's very cool. It's such a, it's really nice, especially when the person that you're meeting is very appreciative and, acknowledges like what you're showing for your fandom. Very cool.
Yeah, it definitely is. Oh, and then C2E2 compared to Dragon Con. What's funny is Dragon Con, I thought was how all conventions were. So when I went to C2E2, they're like, "Oh, the con is closing." I was like, "Wait, what do you mean the con is closing?" So it was a very different experience, but it was very fun, and I loved being able to be kind of like deeper into the companies that make all the things that we love. Like seeing the like, giant dragon that was over everything, and it was just such a different experience of a vendor hall, and it was really cool. And it kind of also helped prepare me for New York Comic Con, which I also went to that year.
Wow. How'd you like that?
It was very fun. It was very stimulating, but I was kind of mentally prepared for that, because that's what a lot of people had told me, like it's a lot going on, just take a break, go like sit somewhere if you feel like getting a bit anxious or it's too much, and that helps a lot. So I was very good about drinking water at that con, and there was like a cool hallway where all the cosplayers were, and they had a cosplay central, and it was very cool. And New York Comic Con, actually Amazon Prime was there, and they took a lot of photos of like our boys cosplay, and it was really awesome to see kind of their acknowledgement and like praise over it. And they shared it with all the actors from the show, and then they shared it. So it's really awesome to connect with them that way.
Was that the one that you went as Kimiko for?
It was. So that was
Oh,
season 1, Kimiko. I'm in season 2 right now, because I'm gonna do some photos and videos after this, because that episode aired Friday.
oh, okay. Yeah, I still have a couple to catch up on for the newest season, but I saw your I saw your Kimiko and we were just like, that's amazing. Like, it's so good. Oh my goodness. Just like every aspect of the character is there. So yes, I think like just check out check out Marvel's Rachel on Instagram, everyone, and just look through. She does. You just yes, you're right here. You do you do such an amazing job on all your cosplays, like just getting into the character, and there's just like a really like a strong feel to everyone that you portray with your characterizations and with your cosplays. So awesome.
Thank you.
um, just moving on to talking about artists and art, Ji Hyung Lee, he's super amazing, amazing artist, hands down. You created a cosplay based on his character Luna Snow, and really, what drew you to that character specifically for him, and what were some of the challenges and the expectations that went into putting that cosplay together?
So what really drew me to Luna Snow was that she was Korean, which we don't have many like Korean characters in general, and also that she was a K-pop star, which I also really like K-pop, and she's basically Todoroki as a K-pop star because she has like the half ice and then half the I don't remember what the other part is called, like a plasma of some sort. So I kind of liked that kind of dual power thing. And so I look at all of her art. I was like, this is such like a cute and cool look. And she had a song just like KDA, which I really enjoyed. So I was like, I need to do this cosplay. And the hardest part for me for that was the wig. I've never done a two-tone wig, and the way that her hair was, I wasn't really able to buy kind of just a Cruella de Vil one. So I tried like hand dyeing it, and then it was trying to hard to get it to set a certain way, but I was on a time crunch. Uh, also, my recommendation is to not do con crunch. I say that, and I'll always do it. So kind of like the black bled a little bit, so I had to always hide it during like the shoots. And for that one, I'll definitely just need to commission that one next time I wear it and work on my own strengths and help someone else's strengths that does the wig making with that. And also, thankfully for that cosplay, my friend LB Cosplay was actually asking people what new designs can he make for commissions. And so I was like, please pick Luna Snow, Luna Snow. So he looked at all the different ones that people suggested, and he made a Luna Snow one that was available for purchase. And so I was able to get that, put it on a suit for Zentai, and then get that. And it was the easiest cosplay to wear.
Oh, okay. So um, that's wow. So really, I mean, aside from the wig, it was a really positive experience to put everything together.
Mm-hmm. It was like getting to work with my friend and also have a cosplay that wasn't as recognized. But when that person did recognize it, it was kind of that just that extra like cherry on top, chocolate sprinkles everything. Because it's a very small character. So whenever someone does like recognize it, like, hey Luna, it's like, you know who I am. So it's always such a fun experience to have that.
Those are the good times, the good moments when you do work so hard on something, and it isn't necessarily a mainstream character like Black Widow or Captain America, and when someone gets it, like yeah, you just feel that much better about what you put together. That's very cool, and it was a really, I mean they're all fantastic, but I wanted to draw some attention to that one because it really just looked fantastic, and just the amount of thought and the reason behind it was really why I thought it really just stood out as far as the cosplay that you put together.
Thank you. I really appreciate that.
You say yourself to listen, support, and be kind, which I think is very important to the cosplay community in general. Would you like to talk about what this means for you, and just like what if that's something that you do find that really cosplay, I mean everyone should probably think about these sorts of things, but when you are at a con or when you're online, um, inside of cosplay, what does that usually, or what do you want people to know about that?
As you just never know what people are going through. Like with Chadwick Boseman recently, no one knew what he was going through, and some people made fun of him for looking so skinny, and that could have been his time to come out and be like, you guys are mean, I have cancer. So but he didn't. He kept everything to himself still, and you just never know what anyone's going through. So just always, listen to people, like really listen, like actively listen, because there's where you can just like hear what someone's saying, but if you actively listen and really care to understand what they're saying and behind it, you'll learn a lot more. And everyone could use support, and it costs zero energy to be kind. I just don't understand why some people choose to say mean or critical things that are unasked for. It's easy to be nice and make someone's day. It's just so simple. And I personally, like a lot of people think kind of I have everything together and that, lots of praise and everything, but I go through a lot of like anxiety and depression kind of stuff too. Like even with all the body positivity, I'm always kind of like my own worst critic. A lot of my cosplays, I'm like, oh no, this is awful. Please don't look at it. Or like trying to like hide certain things. And so kind of everyone has those ups and downs, and so it's always best to be kind, especially if you point out something that someone was already anxious about. It can just ruin the whole cosplay or even convention for them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and you never know what people are going through, and everybody deals with things differently. So, one guy might, have his car totaled and he's fine. The other guy could, that could do it. Or, maybe he missed a TV show and he's really just not happy about that. You don't know, like, and everybody processes everything differently. We as much, and really for me, I mean, yes, listen, support, be kind, very easy to do. Like you said, it's zero effort to try and be positive for people, instead of trying to, like, if you're not having a good day, well then everyone should have a bad day, things like that. Really not what I would advocate for. I mean, I don't know anybody who does advocate for that, but like, yes, let's all be mean to each other. No, I don't know, maybe in New York, I don't know, but it just, I think that's what the community is all, it's what it should be about, is we're there to support fandoms, and we're there to support each other and what we're doing in the space. So yeah, so thank you for using your powers for good, Rachel.
Thank you. I
Appreciate
try.
it.
Positivity is contagious, and so it's me, it's my friend, it's you. All of us just kind of bounce one another and make it even greater. So it's definitely a team effort.
Yes. Well, my last question for you is really something that is more reflective than anything, but what do you feel cosplay impacts within yourself?
I think cosplay impacts kind of the creative aspect of myself. My day-to-day job is pretty much mostly on a laptop, and I really like to create things with my hands and kind of go with different new designs, build props, and just make something new and have that kind of immediate goal. Because you can make a cosplay and see it within a month typically, or less if you're cotton crunching. And you just don't see that with some like work projects. Sometimes that can take years. So it's really nice to be able to build something and say, I did this all on my own or with friends. And like, we made this like really awesome work of art together. And now we can do all these fun skits and just get all of our creative energy out and share it with the world.
Mm-hmm. No, that's 100% the way to think about it. And I really, yeah, I totally agree that, being able to bring something like that creative energy that oftentimes is lacking at work for one reason or another. I can relate just from the standpoint that, you don't always have control over the outcome or the output, and it can take, like you said, it can be a pretty long road for a project to get completed. So yeah, definitely. Rachel, where can we find you and how can we support you online?
You can find me on Instagram and TikTok at Marvelous Rachel. And on my Instagram, I have a link tree in my bio, and I have a Ko-fi, Amazon wish list, and other ways to donate to other charities. Donating to other people or donating to me is all helpful to me and great. And I really appreciate all the support.
Yes, and definitely be sure to like, follow, and support Rachel online. She does so many amazing things. She is such a strong member of the cosplay community. I encourage you to find her and at least drop a like if you can. Certainly support her where you can find her, and there will be links in the descriptions below. All right. So that is all we have for today, everyone. Rachel, thank you so much for being on the show. Thank you for the time that you've spent and for taking the time and for arranging everything. I know, moving your schedule around, you're a very busy person. So it was just great that I was able to reach out and that we could have a little bit of time to talk about just some of the amazing things that you've done with cosplay and just in general. So
Thank you so much. This was very fun. It was a really awesome time to speak to you, and I can't wait to see the show.
All right. Hello, everybody. This is the Heroes of Cosplay Sanctuary podcast. Scotty B saying bye-bye.